Why is 80% of Iran's population living in poverty, in a country that sits atop the second largest natural gas and oil reserves in the world? Sanctions aren't causing this economic failure. It's a regime which is filled with corruption and mismanagement at every level. While the regime's elites send their children to Western schools so they can live luxurious lives in America and in Europe, 25% of young Iranians graduate university unemployed. Why can't Iranians achieve in Iran what they can achieve in the diaspora? It's not America holding them back, it's the regime. And how come this regime can afford to spend $20 billion helping Bashar al-Assad slaughter the Syrian people, while millions of Iranians in Khuzestan, in Baluchistan, in Kurdistan, and elsewhere are living in slums with no running water and no electricity? Look, Iran is a wealthy nation with the potential to be one of the most prosperous and modern societies in the world. But the corrupt and murderous mullahs would rather line the pockets of their terrorist proxies than invest in their own people. So when we're talking about the uprisings in Iran, let's be very clear. The sole party responsible for Iran's suffering is the regime and the regime alone. For 40 years, the world has been sold a lie of reform and moderation. But instead of reforming its behavior, the regime has only gotten more repressive and more brutal. And now, they've elected the butcher Ibrahim Raisi, who in 1988 oversaw the death commissions that resulted in the slaughter of 30,000 political prisoners. Many of these victims, whose images we see here today, were young students like myself, whose sole crime was speaking out for basic human rights.